Hello and welcome back in this very cool and very special video. Now last night Mr. Anthony requested this cool engine on my Snapchat. He contacted me and he requested the famous 1.5 liter Ford EcoBoost engine founded in the Ford Fusion. I mean, this engine is a very impressive engine. I'm really happy with it because I mean it's as good as it will get. I mean, from the factory, this tiny 1.5 liter 1500cc engine comes with really good amount of power and torque and fuel economy, which is very surprising. These four cylinders are making really good power and torque, and I mean, I think in real this Fusion and even the Focus, that because this engine has been equipped with they put it inside the Focus, and also the Fusion will make these cars really move really quickly. Let's start with the specs. As you can see, it's an inline 4 engine, cast iron block. I mean, I was surprised with this. I thought it should have been aluminum as you will call it, but yes, it's a cast iron block. That's what the Wikipedia said about the block itself. It's a 79 millimeters on the bore and 76.5 millimeter on the stroke, which equals 1500 cc on the dot, which means 1.5 liter engine. Dual overhead camshafts with 4 valves per cylinder, aluminium heads. Yes, it uses cast iron block and aluminium head. Variable valve lift. Yes, there is variable valve lift. The engine is very intelligent as well. It has cast iron crankshaft, cast connecting rods, and low friction cast pistons. I mean, they said on the website that the pistons inside the engine has been designed to make the engine more fuel efficient and to make the engine to produce less emissions as well. So I think they meant low friction cast. I mean, hypercast here, or whatever this word is. I'm gonna call it hypercast. This one makes the engine produce less emissions, and the low friction makes the engine more fuel efficient. But the problem with the low friction cast that they are really weak. I had to push the quality to +2 so I can make them take all the torque produced by this turbo without any problems. Let's move on. The engine compression ratio from the factory is 10.0 to 1. The cam profile is 22, and the variable valve lift profile is 67 with variable valve timing as well. The engine, the camshafts and the valve terrain are very intelligent in this engine. +1 quality here, and uses a single turbocharger with ball bearing internals, support 341 horsepower supporting intercooler with a very custom turbocharger. I mean, I've tried and I've played with it, really played with all the options here so I can make it as perfect as it will get. 34 mm on the compressor, 28.3 mm on the turbine, 1.31 is the AR ratio with 16.2 psi of boost. I'm not really sure about the real boost in the real engine in real life, but I had to push it to 16.2 so I can give it the correct power and torque like the real engine. +1 quality on the turbo. Direct fuel injection. Yes, it uses direct fuel injection, not EFI. It uses DFI with single throttle body, standard intake manifold, and I had to use 95 octane because 91 is not enough to make the correct factory power and torque. I mean, even with 95, it was a challenge to make this engine really powerful as the real one, because as I said, this engine is really good. 12.9 is the fuel mixture. I mean, I think this is a little bit high. It should have been lower than this, but also I had to push a little bit more fuel in so I can make the engine run perfectly. 52 on the ignition timing, which is good. 6,300 rpm is the official rpm limit with +1 quality on the fuel system. Short cast, single exhaust with bypass valves, and 2.8 inch. I think also this this exhaust size is a little bit big. 2.8 is a little bit big for this kind of engine. I don't think that this size is really correct in the Fusion. And as you can see, but the catalytic converter is correct. They said in the specs that it uses a three-way catalytic converter, which is what I've chosen here. Straight through for first muffler with reverse flow second mufflers, and as I said, with bypass valves. +1 quality on the exhaust, and this is the final result. 181 horsepower, 185 pound-feet of torque, perfectly like the real engine. As you can see, what I really like about this engine, why I really liked it, because it's a tiny engine, 1.5 liter only, and it's making 181 horsepower. This is really great, and the torque is awesome as well. 185. That's good. This is not bad at all, and it's reliable. Look at the service cost, extremely low, and it's efficient. It uses nearly all the octane. The emissions are low. The engine is quiet. It's responsive. It's lightweight. I mean, it's not really lightweight because the block made from cast iron. Cast iron is very heavy, but still 142 kilograms is not really bad. And remember, this is 1.5 liter only. It's like a milk bottle, the size of a milk bottle, and it makes 181 horsepower. Wow, I'm really happy with this engine, and I can't wait to put it in a very lightweight hatchback or something, and see how it will go around the test track. But let me tell you something. This is not the request. Mr. Anthony told me to make this engine as sporty as possible. But first, of course, I had to make the real one. But let me first fire up this beast, the stock one, and then start modifying it. As you can see and hear, it looks absolutely, and it sounds magnificent. Now let's close it and save it, and now let's choose it again and start putting the speed parts to it, as the American are calling the performance part. They call them speed parts. So this is the engine, but why did I open it? Where is it? Okay, so this is the engine. I'm gonna press clone variant. Yes, now I have a correct clone as you can see. Everything here is locked. I cannot change the material, the head, the valves, anything, or the size. It's locked. Now this is a good engine, from the factory, and as you can see, the pistons, they can only take, like, it says here 184 pound-feet of torque, but we are making at 185. So as you can see, we are really on the edge on these pistons. So to put more power in, let's switch to forged internals. As you can see, forged can go all the way to 597. Also, the cast connecting rods, they can only take 221 pound-feet of torque. Let's choose heavy duty forged and forged crankshaft. Wow, the forged crankshaft can only take 376 billet steel. Well, I'm not really sure if we will hit these numbers or not, but let's keep them as a start. Changing the internals, put this one on 0, no need for higher quality parts. Now, as you can see, this engine already is a good engine. Of course, choosing forged pistons has dropped the fuel efficiency significantly, as you can see, because low friction cast is much more efficient. But the forged pistons give you more octane room. As you can see, the low friction cast topped at 94.9. The forged one are topped at 93.9. So they give you a little bit of headroom in the octane section. Now, since we changed the internals, let's change them to 9.5 to 1. I know decreasing the compression will make you lose power, but I will decrease the compression so I can also have better or bigger room in the octane section. Now, the cam profile is not really relevant for me. I'm gonna keep it, let's say 20, and because yes, we will change the camshaft, and since we will hit so much high power or high RPM, let's say 8000 RPM, we need a high RPM camshaft, so maybe 100. I think 100, yes. And so you have to change the internals of the engine, change the camshafts, maybe put some bigger valves in it. Oh, actually making the camshaft itself bigger will make more fuel efficiency. Okay, so 35, as you can see, gives me better fuel efficiency. +1, keep the +1 quality on the valve terrains. So you have to change the camshaft, the valves, maybe the cylinder heads for higher flow ones. But the factory ones come really good from the factory. Now let's push the AR ratio to the max. A little bigger turbine, much bigger compressor, as you can see. So yes, you will also need to change the turbo. I have to change the turbo also, because I don't want to make the engine really laggy. So let's say 16 psi. Let's move on a little bit and get back to it. So of course you have to change the engine to a performance intake if you want to keep the single throttle body. You have to change the intake manifold, the injectors of the engine, the spark plugs, and also you have to change the ignition system. If you have an ignition box, you have to buy one from MSD or whatever companies they support this setup. Put more ignition in. That's 8000 RPM. No, we can go higher. Yes, 8500 RPM. Put a bigger exhaust 3-inch. Put a high flow 3-way Cadillac converters. Change the reverse flow to a straight through. As you can see, we are already hitting 252 horsepower, which is really good. As you can see, decreasing the VVL profile to 96. I want to keep the engine efficient as well. I don't want the engine to be really fuel burner. I'm really stumped here. Should I make which one will make the engine less laggy? Let's see if the compressor size, if it will max here, and the turbine will max here. Let's see, 4000 RPM. This is very laggy, I know that. Alright, the engine is starting to knock, so that means we have to switch to 98 octane fuel. I don't want to push more fuel in. I want to keep the engine, let's see, 314 horsepower. Okay, I'm gonna decrease the turbine size. Oh no, not the turbine, the compressor size. The compressor is really making the engine really laggy, so I have to find the perfect silver lining here. Let's see, this one is 4100 RPM. It's 49, 35, no, 33. Yes, 3900. This is more. 4000. Still 4000. right? I'm gonna keep it like this, 50 millimeters on the compressor. I mean, if I want, I can go higher, but I don't want to make the engine laggy. I hate laggy turbocharged engines because this is not a drag racing engine. This is, I mean, this is if you already have a Fusion and you have a lot of money and you want to make this engine really stand out and make tons of power, you can make it. It's not really difficult. 2.2, 3.5 inch. Wow, this is a big exhaust pipe now. No, no, keep it 3 inch. 3.5 is a little bit overkill. Let's see if the cam profile is perfect. Yeah, it's perfect on 40. As you can see, 301 horsepower, 214 pound-feet of torque. As you can see, the engine is powerful now. We started in 180 and 81 power and 81 horsepower, and now we have 301 horsepower. And we have started with 6,300 RPM, and now we have 8,500 RPM. So as you can see, the engine is spinning faster, it's making more power, more torque. Of course, it's less efficient because we are pushing a little bit more fuel in, and we need 98 octane to run. And let's see how it will work. And remember, this is 300 horsepower from 1.5 liter engine. Wow. I just saw that. Wow, the intake is really restricting. So switching from a single throttle body, and I'm really surprised by this because direct fuel injection, this one can support only to 137 horsepower. I thought this can take more. Alright, let's switch to individual throttle bodies and see a huge power difference. The engine is knocking, of course, because we need more octane. 315 horsepower. Wow, this is a big increase. And we are using all the available octane now. We are not restricting at all. 8,600 RPM, 315 horsepower. Good. Now let's go back to the internals because I don't think we need forged steel here. And let's see. Now this cannot take it. Of course it cannot take it. Perfect like this. So forged steel crankshaft. You need forged internals. Forged steel crankshaft, ready to forge connecting rods and forged pistons. Right. Pretty much perfect. As you can see, it looks magnificent. If you want to put a higher quality exhaust system, you can put one like +5, as you can see. If you want to put a higher quality injectors, a much more efficient turbocharger, a much more expensive and better camshafts, as you can see, you will hit 320 horsepower easily. Let's see, what should we change here to add more power? A little bit more ignition timing, 322 horsepower. Push the RPM. Let's say to, what is this? As you can see, push the RPM to 8,800 RPM. As you can see, this is really close to what the connecting rods can take. as you can see, this bump here, it's from the variable valve lift profile, because it's really, as you can see here, it's really far away, 98, and the cam profile is just, as you can see, if I want to eliminate the flop here, or this weird area here in the graph, I have to push the camshaft profile a little bit more aggressively to the front by adding more cam profile, but it will lose extreme amount of fuel efficiency. I want to make it more efficient, I will stick it to 39. So it's up to you actually when you are buying camshafts for the engine, and how you will tune it, if you want the cam profile to stay in the eco section, or if you want to push it or buy a bigger and thicker camshaft with really high and with really aggressive loops, you know, except forget about the variable valve lift profile. I'm talking about the camshaft itself. If you want to make it more aggressive, if you want to buy a big camshaft with aggressive loops on it, yes, you will make your curve really flat, but you will lose a lot of fuel efficiency. Or if you want to buy a normal mid-size camshaft with really aggressive variable valve lift profiles on it, I mean, it's up to you. I mean, if this is a racing engine for the track, no, of course I would push it like this. I push it like to, let's see, 73, I think. 73 makes the graph really flat, but it will drop the fuel efficiency from 20.9 to 18.3%. So it's up to you. It's really up to you, and it will give you more octane room. As you can see, you can put more compression in the engine. Of course, more compression means a higher compression from the pistons, so you have to take the engine apart again. As you can see, more ignition timing, or maybe less fuel. It's up to you. This is all just tuning stuff. So 3.2 inch will give you power all the way to the max RPM. I mean, you will not the power will not drop at any RPM, as you can see, all the way to 8,800. And of course, if I want to push more RPM, I would have chosen lightweight forged. Lightweight forged can take a certain amount of torque before exploding. So 9,000 RPM, yes, you can go all the way to 9,000 if you want. Or you can keep it at 8,600 like this. You will have more power. You can switch back to heavy duty forged, drop the RPM to 8,800, and the power can stop at 8,600, as you can see. So the red line will start from 8,600 in the instrument cluster. Let's see, if you want to put 3.8 inch, 3.8 inch is a really big exhaust. No, I mean 331 horsepower, but the exhaust is looking really weird, especially with these catalytic converters, because it will become really huge. I want to keep the exhaust size, you know, like the normal car. 3 inch is a car size. 3.2 will start to become racing car size. Yes. I want to push it to 330 horsepower, but I don't think that's gonna happen. 229 are using all the octane, when if you want to put better turbo, better fuel injectors, really want to hit 330 horsepower. Okay, like this. But we are still 329. So we still need a little bit of boost. Yes, 330 horsepower. Perfect. Perfect indeed. From 1.5 liter engine. What an absolute beast. So this is not a close replica now, it's a super, what am I writing? Super sport, super one setup. Super sport setup. Nice. I really love this engine now. It's extremely powerful. I mean, look at the size and look at the power. Wow. And it really sounds at idle like a really rally car, like a rally engine. I really love the sound of it at high RPM and at idle, and it looks magnificent. Look at this carbon fiber intake manifold, the big intercooler with the bigger turbo as you can see, the thick and big exhaust system, the performance intake manifold, performance intake system. As you can see, the headers are glowing like a light bulb. And look at these individual throttle bodies, they look absolutely magnificent and sporty. So I'm really happy with the end results. As I mentioned, the engine comes from the factory with really good power and torque, and without changing the internals of the stock engine. I mean, putting a bigger turbo on it and pushing more boost will really make the internals suffer and explode really soon. So you have to change the internals and basically change everything in the engine if you want to make a good amount of power out of it. Some tuners actually tune the engine to make more power, you know, to add more boost from the stock turbo, play with the turbo itself, maybe put better injectors in the engine, push more fuel in. But all of this will make the original engine, you know, less efficient. You will be burning more fuel in. So it's up to you if you want. If you're already happy with the stock engine with the 181 horsepower. I mean, 181 from a 1.5 liter engine is a really good amount of power. Because let me remind you, there was a time in the Ford company, for example, the Ford Crown Vic, the Crown Victoria, let's see, the first gen of it, the engine was only making 191 horsepower, from a 4.6 liter V8. Can you imagine a V8 with 191 horsepower only? And this tiny milk bottle size engine is making nearly that power from a V8. I mean, look at the difference. 4 cylinders, 8 cylinders, and all of this thanks to this magical looking compressor snail that is making all of these dreams really achievable. So thank you so much, Mr. Anthony, for your cool request, and thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you really enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, get subscribed, and share the video for more. And of course, go to my Patreon page, and if you want to request an engine or a vehicle or anything in automation here, just write it on my Patreon page, or even in the comment section. You can add my Snapchat and request over there. It's okay, do whatever you want. You have all the options available for you to request more videos, and I can't wait for the channel to hit 500 subscribers. So thank you so much for your support, guys. I'm really happy with it. So thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna see you very soon. And yes, let me remind you, all my videos are now recorded in 4K quality, so you can watch them in 4K. So thank you so much. I'm gonna see you very soon, and goodbye, my friends.